Alright, in the last video, we dimensioned and added notes to this simple foundation plan for a garage. Now we need to take and put it into what I call my plotting drawing. And got a few drawings open here. These are the drawings that are open. These are the sheets available in this drawing. And so the drawing that we want to put it in is this bell plotting. I basically XREF everything into one drawing. And but before we do that, we had previously I chose a name, wasn't very good for this drawing. Instead of it just being called Foundation Plan, as you see up at the top here. I added Foundation Plan and Details, but I separate out Details into separate drawings that are then XREF'd into the plotting drawing. So I'm going to go back to my projects. I'm going to go to this particular project, go to my AutoCAD file, then CDs, and I did a save as. So I now have Foundation Plan, which is the one we want to keep, and this one called Foundation and Deets is junk. So I'm just going to toss it, clean things up a little bit, and that's that. Office loves to tell me that I'm throwing away stuff. So now I have got to get this into this plotting drawing. And before I do anything, let's just make sure that we save the latest version. Go into plotting. Once we're in plotting, we've got a few different things here. And Foundation and Deets, that's kind of how I came up with the name for the drawing, and that was just a mistake on my part. But we're going to go into that drawing. We already have a framing plan sitting here, but there was plenty of room to, we've got a framing drawing with framing of the walls, and we're going to do some rearranging because on our more main floor plan, I have those walls. Much nicer, dimensioned out, everything's ready to go. So floor plan, three-dimensional image of it, all that kind of stuff is all here. And so here we'll find out what fits and then start eliminating stuff. Our GSN is full. That's our general structural notes. So that sheet is full. And then the way that I do this, I have a block. So to keep my client unanimous, which I didn't in some of my first videos, I changed the name to just leave blank, and then that's just in one drawing, so it'll fix all these in one shot when I'm ready. So we're on S2, and we need to see what we got going on for layer sets in this. So I'm going to back out. Oh, and I know I don't. I have not imported into this drawing. So here I've got structural plans, and that plan that we're seeing, you can see that blinking to the left there as I go over that line. That is in model space, and so we need to put one next to it. That's the foundation plan. So we have to XREF that in. So first we need to go to our, make sure we're on the right layer, go to model space, go over to an area where I keep my structural plans. All these red lines don't print, so they're of no consequence. Just kind of help me line things up. Let's see what we're on. We're on the general notes. So we want to be on an XREF for the foundation. And so that is this guy here. And I'm going to type XREF. Oops, I didn't quite get it, but it got it anyway. Or no, looks like I did. I just didn't think I hit it. And then I'm going to add one. Make sure I don't have that A2 in here from, or sorry, S2 from that other erroneous one. We should have this Rob. That's just a name. I think I explained that in another video, but these are from a previous job, and we'll start using this convention of having the client name in some certain types of objects, such as general notes, that sort of thing. Specific to its own, yes, that works fine. That helps me identify that I'm in the right job. So, in here, I need to attach. I'm on the right layer. all the stuff's going to show up in my other window because I was recording on the other monitor yesterday, but I got some stuff figured out to where I can record on my main monitor now. So I'm looking for that S2. There it is. Open it up. And the scale is good, 1:1. The path is going to be relative. The reference type will be an overlay. If you do an XREF into an XREF into an XREF, you do need to attach if you want it to show up when you go to plot. But overlays are better for, let's say that you XREF a drawing into one drawing, and then you XREF that drawing back into the original drawing. The only way you can do that without getting what's called an infinite loop situation is to use the overlay. My insertion point, I'm just going to pick that on the screen, and because 0, 0 is going to shoot off into space, and then it's 1:1 on scale, inches, rotation angle, all that stuff's good. So here it is, and so I'll just drop it in here. Good enough place, and I've got some extraneous material. This is all part of it, all this stuff way out here. So to make that go away, I type XC for an X reference clip or X clip, pick the X reference, go through 3 space bars because I do want a new boundary. I do want it to be rectangular, and that just sets me in the mode that last click. So now I can just pick here, come down, make sure, see I'm snapping over here when I'm getting that close. So if I zoom in, so I can see this text up here and be able to tell where I'm at. If I get close enough, it shouldn't snap. Or I could turn my snaps off, but we're going to just get close enough. And now you can see it's all cleaned up. That's as big as it is. And if I needed to change it, I can actually grab these little guys and resize it. So now that that's in there, I can go back to this sheet that we were building. I can pan. Oh, first I got to get into this viewport. That makes it line thick. Hit pan. That was a double click to get in. Then bring it over, and it's grabbing that. That's pretty close to centered enough to where I think it's going to work. You can't get out of here unless you get out of pan. And this is just one of those commands in AutoCAD. Oh, it looks like I can go up here, but I'm still stuck in pan. So you have to escape, get yourself out of pan. Now you can double click out of here, but I don't want to yet because I need to change the scale to 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So there's my scale. It's going to bring it in. Now I can go back to pan again. Let's bring it somewhere towards the middle. That's good enough. Double click out, and now I can size this viewport so that it easily just makes it something I can scooch around on the drawing until I'm happy with the way it lays out with all the other drawings that are going to be on the same sheet. So there's that. I've got these down here. They probably have different layer settings because you can set layers to print differently in different viewports. So I'm going to keep them because they're probably to do with details. And eventually, as it says, foundation and details. This may end up on a different sheet. We shall see. So now I'm going to move this. I like to move it down towards the right-hand side because this is my staple edge, and this the important information contractor wants to see right away. I try and keep it over on this side. For the moment, I don't see why we don't see. There's going to be so few details in this plan. Why don't I stick this up here? And let's get the framing in here too. And maybe we'll just rename this drawing when we're all done. And I'm going to bring it up, separate it a little bit. So now I have my roof framing. If I want to, I can actually create some lines through here. And I can do it in paper space, or I could do it in model space. I'll show you the difference. So let's go back to model. And I can even copy one of these lines, or I can create another one. So let's go to the G label junk. Any of the G layers are just for our reference. They won't print. They're just for us. So I'm going to do an X line, which is an infinite length. I'm going to do one vertically, so V, and then I'm going to drop it on what I call the baseline. I'm going to put one on the baseline over here, the outside of the framing. Those are the same point in the stack exactly. So now that that's there, let's save. Then let's go back to that sheet. Oh, I got some unreconciled layers. There is a viz retain setting that can help reduce the amount of times that you will see that, but it won't make it go away. And it's set to 1, so it's the fact that I brought in a new xref, and 1 is the value that you want. So that just retains the visual context of your viewports, I believe, and you can double check me on that. So going into, what was I doing? Oh, I want to come down here and we're going to get things lined up. So foundation and deets, might be called foundation framing and deets. So let's line these up so they look nice. And I can put another X line in here and do vertically, and it will snap to this guy. So now I've got this one here. So we're going to move this from, zoom in, let's get that, and go straight across. And if I can either kind of, let it snap to there. I can also type the word PER, perpendicular, hit enter, and it'll give me a little perpendicular symbol. Now I know I got it perpendicular. And so there's 2 ways to do that. Get rid of that line. These lines won't print. I could leave them there. I can get rid of them. It doesn't matter. So they're inconsequential to what's going on. So now we need to get some details in here and stuff. So that is assembling this drawing so far. Need some pretty standard details for this thing. So I'm going to zoom extend just to make it a little bigger. Let's move one of these guys in here and see what kind of layer setup it is. I'm going to make it nice and big to start with. I just like that because it makes it easy to figure out where I'm at. Then I can double click inside of it. Oop, didn't get it. There we go. And then zoom out. And let's just take a look around. Do I have any details in here already? I don't think I do. There's a section drawing. We'll need a section. So I've already drawn that. We've got elevations drawn. There's those framing plans. So I'm not seeing details yet. So let's go in here and find our detail section in model space. Model space. And if I haven't positioned it yet, yeah, there's foundation and framing. They're just kind of floating in space because I didn't put them someplace that's easier to find. I do like to keep things kind of gathered together if I can. So let's move both of them because there's hardly any details for this baby. Whoops, that snapped. I got too close to this line, and so it went to its midpoint. That's over here. So we're just going to scoot on over. And you can do a relative move. So I'm picking a point in space and just relatively moving it over. Let's bring this guy up here. If I do the same thing, it'll put it on the same level, if I cared about that. I don't really, but reframing details. Actually, really just have a connection detail because it's a truss, manufactured truss system for this little guy. So in our foundation details, we now need to go out and bring some in, but we got to set our layer to what layer we want them on. So xref deets 1. 1 is usually we put foundations, and deets 2 is usually we put framing details. So you don't need all these layers if you don't want to, but I just do it that way myself, personal preference. So that didn't look like it went to the right place. Went to our annotation, deets. There we go. All right, so xref, and now I got to go find it. Oh, before we go find it, we need to bring this guy back over here. And let's go see if we have anything. No, it's empty. So I have a library of, let's just leave that open. I have a library of details that I can derive from. And it's under my support folder for AutoCAD. And I've got details that are evolving. So in our foundation details, got a bunch of different stuff here for retaining walls, concrete step detail, double 8-inch foundation at garage. That might be a good one. So we'll take and we'll copy that. And we will zip on up. I could open, well, I do this a lot. I'll just bring this over here, kind of show you how I try and make things a little more efficient. I'll just have two of these guys open. And so I'll come in here, go to my details, and now I can copy. I don't like this new Windows 11 copy and paste. Only a symbol. I like the word for some reason. I'll get used to it. Foundation at slab on grade. I don't think we need that, but let's just copy it in here. So we'll take a look at it. We can always delete it. And paste. Then, let's go to our framing details. Reframing. Column, common truss top plate connection. We'll want that one. Copy. And paste. So I've got some details in here to work with. Let's start there. So let's just go ahead and open this guy. And we do have a flat common truss, C elevation. And these days I've actually been putting pretty much all my technical information on the sections. So I don't like to have things repeated in a drawing, because if I ever have to go in and make a change, then I've got to change it everywhere. And if I miss it somewhere, I'm going to get a call during the build, which one of these is right. So there's a lot of reference to look at the section or look elsewhere for stuff. And more gable ends, that one's good. Siding and insulation, see sections or elevations. That's kind of got it covered there. Fascia, see section for specification. That's a common. Studs are common. The drywall is common. This is a very common build. And we're going to put hurricane ties. So all this is good. We will need to give this a number once we have decided how everything lays out in our plan. So we got that one open. Let's look at this foundation at garage one. It's pretty straightforward too. See design criteria for the depth. All of our wood products need to be 6 inches out of grade. That's a code standard. Over 7/16 minimum wood structural sheeting. Now, this is a client who requested that I upgrade this to a 1/2 inch. And so that is special. That's why I make a copy. And then I'll go in and make any changes to this to be particular to the project itself. And it looks like everything here, there's a lot of 3/4 minus up here for the aggregate base course. And just really easy to compact. A lot of red dirt in certain areas of the state that just compacts really well. This has a number in it already, so we'll need to make sure that we get that changed once we get it organized. Now let's pop open the other one just to see if it's useful. I don't think we need it, but I will need a turn down for that typical footing. Boy, this looks like the same detail. So, yeah, sure is. Foundation is slab on grade. So this basically just, at one point I probably had a special case for a garage, so I gave one a name. There's no changes to be made. So we'll just need to turn down for the garage door. But let's put these in there just so we can show how this works. and then move on. We'll need to do the whole project. So these are ready to go. I'll go into bell plotting again. And I've got those two saved. Let's come here and let's get rid of this one because we don't want it. We're not going to use it. These two are open right now. Got it. I know I'm erasing it. Now we're going to come in and we're going to pull these two in, one in the foundation, one in the reframing. I've got more to do, but this will be good enough to get us through how. So XREF. Oh, yeah, we're on. Let's see which one. D1. So let's do the foundation. So XREF. And we want our, gotta hit attach. Go to our folder for details. Our foundation. Open. Okay. All our settings are the same. See how small it is? It's because it's a 3/4 inch scale. Now, we can do the exact same command. Oh, hold on. I want to change my layer. Okay, don't forget to change your layers if you're that type of personality and you like to have that. So, XREF and attach, common, open. Okay, and drop it in there. Now, all I gotta do is go back to my foundation and deets, and I can make two of these, but let's get in a little closer. Okay, so what have I got here? They are hidden somewhere. Oh, first off, no, they'll be here. They'll be here. Where? They're super tiny. Oh, look at that. They're not showing up in here, and I have a feeling that that is because this setting is probably not in here. Let's do one just to show you how that works. So we'll come in here, and we're going to go over to our layers. Wow, it looks like I'm going to chose command. So let's go into layers for this particular viewport is what we're looking at. So in here, there's some things that the viewports are frozen. So there's some general note stuff that are frozen in here. That didn't turn on. Looking for that to pop up. So I'm going to kind of look down towards the bottom. XREF, and I can't read these. Let's make it wider. Not a, oh. Come on. Some of these are hard to grab. Out. Then, oh, these have to be done at the top. Then bring it back. Oh man, oh, somebody snapped something over there, so it didn't want to do anything. There we go. Now, what's turned off here? Abbreviations and annotation. Don't know why. GN, that shouldn't be causing it. Sometimes these can be a little mysterious, but they can also be hidden in here. Oh, and I'm reconciled layers again. So let's go in here, Control A, reconcile the layers. These are new things I brought in, so you are going to have to do it then. Now, I don't see a foundation detail there yet, so I still got an issue. And it's determining what exactly that issue is. So let's make sure they're here. Foundation at garage, that's in here. It's loaded. Okay, so the XREFs are here. So now I just got to find out what is keeping, what is keeping them. This is all my non-XREF layers. So Breeze is froze out of there. Check sometimes over here for your new ones too. Then I can go to my XREFs. Let's just check those. Breeze, annotation, and GN. It's not on those layers. It's on these two layers. They're both fine. So let's check the layers themselves. So if I come in here, I'll see this foundation plan. And this is, oh, that's foundation plan. I want that detail for a foundation. Foundation at garage. How does this look? Oh, my junk layers are probably those. Yep, the junk layers don't print. Don't want them to print. Don't want my layout aids to print. I don't want my viewports to print. I'm at a little bit of a loss here. but it is solvable. And it's sometimes it's an XREFT into an XREFT. What else could it be? But let's try something else, just because I don't want this video to be too long. Oh, here's my extraneous stuff. This is just a product of creating a new sheet. Okay, so let's do this. Zoom in here, and zoom extends. Zoom extends. Now let's come in. I'm so far away. I need to get up closer. Nope, they're not there either. So even this is not set up for details. Something's up with this drawing. It's got to be another problem. It has to be another problem. Let's make sure we save. Can't imagine that would have anything to do with it. What is causing it? I always figure these out rather than just pop into another one. It's kind of nice to always remind myself of how I get myself into these situations. But this is actually just the plotting drawing. And in my paper space, I can clearly see it. It is on this layer. That layer is not locked. It's not. Everything is fine there. And this should be on the number 2, which is Dietz 2. Everything looks good there. All these layers are because of the layer set that I'm in. So that's here. I am actually in a layer set through here. So I can look at just like we did earlier. We looked at the foundation. Everything looks fine. Just for the fun of it, we're going to look at this framing one, common truss. What layers in common truss? Shouldn't be. Looks like it's got a full set of layers, so that file needs to be even purged. Because yeah, that is way too many layers. So we'll go through and clean that. We want to see this clean up. Let's do that real quick because it's just so easy to do. So our common, if I look at this thing, there's appliances, there's all sorts of stuff in here. This is just a detail. I don't like having all that junk in just a detail. So we're going to type the purge. And in details, I'm really not afraid to just say purge it all. And you want to get your nested items and your orphan data. Purge all. It'll clean the heck out of it. Purge all checked items. Close. And now, oh, the appliance layer, I was on it, so it didn't get rid of it. So I need to switch, let's say, to the 0 layer. If I type purge again, the only thing that should be left is that layer, appliance. Purge all, close. So this is about as minimalistic as I can get. There is more I could do. I can get rid of all these down here because there's stuff in here that's on layers. I usually don't worry too much about that. There are reasons to really clean something up, but this isn't one of them. So now that that's done, I will hit save. I should try my best to remember to go back into my my original that's in my set of details and get that one in here. So I'm going to pause this video and figure out what's going on and then come back. Or actually, before I do that, let's take a real quick look at the plotting sheet because I want you to see that some XREFs were modified. So now I updated that. I'll hit save. They're there in paper space. They're still probably not going to be here in this other sheet. Sorry, other sheet. Oh, I got one. So let's get that one in here real quick. That may be enough to actually wrap up the video, but I will hit pause anyway for those who want to see what exactly was wrong. Why did I go out of the drawing? All right, trying to do too many things here. So let's zoom in on this guy. I'm trying to center that a little bit better. Now I want to change it because I know it's at a 3/4 inch scale. 3/4 of an inch. Oop, went off screen so I can hit my pan. Try and find it. There it is. Easy enough. Oops. Hit escape. That's the one thing about using pan. And then I can bring that up to that edge, this to that edge, and I have a detail. So now you can grab it by this center piece too and move it around if you want. That's one easy way to do it. So we'll drop it up here for now. And it'll print just fine. So now I am going to pause the video, and I'm going to work with one of these guys. Bring it over here in paper space where it's a little easier to see. Make it larger. Try and zoom in on. Oh, look. There it is. Okay, everything's working. So somewhere along the lines, purging and cleaning the files seem to be the trick. So can't tell you exactly what I did, unfortunately. So let's bring it up to scale. And I just apparently wasn't in it, so I'm going to undo. I was not in it. So double click. Now let's bring it to scale. And we want 3/4. Boom. Now we can pan it, try and find it. See how lucky we get. Not very. So I'm going to back out. Bring it over. Try and get it more centered. Now let's try hitting that to scale. I did have to escape to get out. 3/4. Boom, that's closer. Now I can pan it. Bring it over, call it good. Double click outside, and let's size this. See those borders? Move it where I want it. I got more to put on this sheet, obviously, got some space, so got the other detail for going through here. And I've got a sill plate detail to add to this, that sort of thing. So, but it's looking pretty good. So that's enough for right now.